flakes, whistlers, dan juga spherics.
That tropical threat Willa, making landfall as the Category 3 hurricane in Mexico, and now heading right for Texas. Ginger's tracking it all and at the very latest on the storm's path. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning, Michael. You can see the images coming out of Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, of the high surf that made its way there as the storm made landfall last night. It then got shredded, ripped apart by the mountains, and now just a depression, but it'll mix together the moisture with this picture from Phoenix, Arizona, that's caused by a trough. They had water rescues there, so you put those two things together, and it is bad news for Texas, the hill country that has been so saturated from last week's flooding. Austin still under a boil water notice, and a lot of the surrounding areas going to get more rain, especially today through early tomorrow. Then it starts to move off to the east, and Louisiana, Mississippi, even the panhandle of Florida could pick up to 3 inches of rain. And this is the exact storm that's then going to come together with some other components, Michael, and give us the potential for a nor'easter by this weekend. Windy, wet.
Dramatic scene in Southern California where a vintage plane crashed into a busy highway. ABC's Kana Whitworth is in Los Angeles, and Kana, that pilot, one lucky man.
I know, George, good morning. California Highway Patrol calling it really the best case scenario if you have to land a plane on a highway. The pilot essentially walked away after he says the engine failed mid-flight.
A dramatic plane crash on one of California's busiest freeways in the middle of the day. Frightening video from inside a driver's car as they capture the unbelievable moment when this plane barrels toward the highway. Unaware drivers passing underneath. The plane hitting the ground, bouncing twice. The wing kicking up dust from the hill before crashing.
Researchers in Hungary have detected what could be a pair of elusive dust clouds orbiting just 250,000 miles from Earth, putting to rest a long-running debate on their existence. The two pseudo-satellites were first reported in 1961 by Polish astronomer Kazimierz Kordylewski, but remain controversial because they are so difficult to spot. Now, scientists at a private observatory in Hungary say they've finally found the faint objects, revealing they sit in a semi-stable points that forms a triangle with the Earth and Moon.
Hurricanes like Harvey and Irma, a new report warns 150,000 damaged cars have snuck back onto the market in just the past year alone. Whit Johnson is at a salvage yard in Mount Vernon, New York, with more on that story for us. Good morning, Whit.
Robin, good morning to you. When hurricanes strike, flooded cars often end up in salvage yards like this one. But an estimated 500,000 of these damaged vehicles are still out there driving around. The owners might not even know it. Experts say you have to do your research to make sure you don't end up with one of these in your driveway. thousands of cars submerged in underwater disaster zones, seemingly consumed by Hurricanes Harvey and Irma last year. But this morning, driver beware. Experts warning that many of these washed-up vehicles are hitting roads and lots across the country.
Over the past year, there's been a 47% spike in cars that have returned to the road that were previously flooded.
Used car tracking service Carfax says 150,000 flood cars popped up in just the past year.
It's going to corrode the mechanical system, it's going to short the electrical system, and it's going to impact the safety system to where your airbags and even your anti-lock brakes may not work when you need them.
And they're hard to spot. Carfax shows us how after a 5-hour makeover, this Hurricane Harvey damaged car looks shiny and new. Look at these before and afters of this trunk. Experts say these cars may look fine, but inside could be massive damage.
We found out the carpet was damp. They did try to wet vac it.
In 2015, Bob Sluss says he was approached by several customers.
They're not going to divulge that information to us because it will decrease the value of their vehicle.
Trying to trade in cleaned up, flood-damaged cars, but he caught them. And Carfax says these cars often aren't being sold in flood zones.
Many of these cars can be moved hundreds, if not thousands of miles away from where the flooding happened across the country and resold anywhere, some to people that have no idea that that car was flooded.
And with a busy hurricane season, they're expecting more.
As long as we continue to see severe storms and historic hurricanes like we've had over the last several years, we're only going to see these cars increase.
And with thousands of these damaged vehicles out there in circulation, here's what you need to do to make sure you don't end up with a piece of junk. Check under the hood for any signs of rust. Get the vehicle inspected by a reputable mechanic. And you can get a vehicle history report. Carfax is a simple app. You take the VIN number, you can plug it in right there on your smartphone. Robin?